be taking you through all the upcoming releases and what we have released in the past month. So get up. It's going to be some exciting things. Shri, over to you.
Yep. Hey guys, good evening, good morning, wherever you're joining from. Just let me know when you can see my screen. We can get started.
Yep, we've got it right here.
All right. So what are we up to? What did we release in the last 1 month or since we last met, and what's going on? What's going to come ahead, right? Let me run you through what we have released at least in the last 1 month and what's going on. A heads up is that there are quite a few heavy lift items that we are doing, and you'd be super excited to see what we are releasing soon. Yep, and yeah, so getting started, right? The first thing I want to talk about is the first release, or rather, what we did was right now, many of the users who want to use an IVR do not know if they could use an IVR or not if they did not have an LC phone subscription. Just double diving onto that is earlier, you could not see, you could not, the only way you could find out that your IVR is not going to work is when a scroll down button of phone number comes and then you don't see any phone numbers over there. Probably many of you are trying to figure out why is there no phone number, but the reason was that LC phone was not subscribed. So we made this sort of a UX change to make it much simpler for all of you folks, where whenever you don't have your LC phone either activated or even just not purchased itself, we allow you to do it right away from the action when IVR trigger whenever you've selected it. So when you select an IVR trigger, you're automatically shown regarding the status of your LC phone connection. And then if you don't have one, you could directly click on this button, go to the settings, and then purchase an LC phone over there. And then it starts working the way expected. And do stop me in case if you have any questions. I'll be either stopping and answering it, or my colleague Prasoon will do it. So the next release, what I want to speak about is the deleted action. So we did hear from quite a few folks on the reason of having a deleted by button to at least acknowledge on who has deleted a particular workflow. We have heard all of that, and we have inculcated that into the deleted tab. What we have released on the last town hall, what we spoke about. So if you go to your deleted section, and whenever there is a list of deleted workflows, you can right now also see which user has deleted, as what you can see in front of your screen. The next one is also something asked by much of you folks is whenever there is a wait step and then there is a prompt which has to be taken through to via the chat GPT function. What has been happening is that whenever you're using a message.body sort of the variable, right? Only the first 100 characters would be taken into the consideration, and after that, it would be automatically trimmed out. We have fixed this. We have fixed this issue, and right now, whatever the length of your message body is, all of that is right now sent, and the trimming issue, what used to happen earlier, is not happening anymore. This is the part I was super excited to speak with all of you. What are we planning for the next? What are we planning going forward, or what is going to come ahead in the next couple of months or the next month, right? The first thing I want to talk about is the memory key. Yes, like we have been speaking about it quite some time. There are a couple of things we are just ironing it out, and then so that there is no issues up front. But a super exciting thing I want to add over here is that the ChatGPT 4.0 model, which was not there earlier, is also being worked upon along with the memory key. So you can see you can right now only use 3.5 and 4.5 turbo, but going forward, once this releases out, you can also use the ChatGPT 4.0 over there along with the memory key, which is of course coming out. The next one I want to speak about is the pause workflow. So we have heard multiple instances where people would want to just pause their workflows on, say, a Christmas or a New Year holiday events, right? You don't want to send your customers messaging or even the marketing information during these particular holidays. Right now, the only way you could do this was you would have to manually come to make it into a draft on these particular days and do it very manually, where you come on the day of morning of the Christmas and then you shut your workflow down. Similarly, on the other day of holidays, you don't want it to work. We are trying to fix this out by doing a pause workflow sort of a feature on what you can see over here. So we are introducing a new workflow settings tab, where in the workflow settings tab, you have a feature where you can toggle on or off the pause workflow, and also select the date and time, whether you want it for one workflow or you want it for multiple workflows. So all you would literally have to do is pick a particular date or range of date from and to, and then pick what all workflows that have to be paused over there, and also if you want to do this annually or not. So you wouldn't need to do this entire process of coming to workflows on that particular date and then doing a draft to all the workflows you would have to sort of pause on these days. The next,
I could
yeah,
just go back to that really quick.
yeah.
I just want to do a gut check. Does anybody have any opinions? You just throw it in the chat. Does pause
And
workflow make the most sense here? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I pause it, now I'm nervous that if I re-enable it, I'm going to start back where we started. And if I've got like a coaching call every, day at 10 a.m. or something, and we pause it, similar to what we do here, I know that it's going to check the date and then skip that if it's been in the past. But I just wanted to kind of maybe get some ideas so that we get the wording right on this.
We kind of use that pause feature already when we're doing drip campaigns for emails for the holidays,
Mhm.
because it's kind of like in a hold,
Yeah.
that hold
Okay.
status. That may
Okay.
be if you're going to rename it, maybe have it hold. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever that naming convention is for that function.
Okay. And guys, I'm not suggesting that we change it. I just wanted to get some feedback so that I'm not the only one. Dutch Texan, you got something?
Yeah, I was wondering, because we will use this for multiple workflows, instead of having to select the dates in every single workflow separately, is there a way to copy paste it to all the other workflows as well? Or a simple way to copy it? Because I can imagine if you want to stop it, for example, Christmas, July 4, and all the holidays, you maybe want to use that for more than one workflow. So is there a way of, instead of sitting down and picking all those holidays every single time, is there a way to basically copy paste that? And I don't know, are there holidays? I'm an immigrant, forgive me. Are there holidays that are based on a date instead of a date, not on a date, but like on a, for example, the first Monday of the month or something like that?
Yeah, like Memorial Day is like that, I think.
Yes.
I'm not the best with
Sure.
calendars, but yeah, there's
Passover,
So
Easter.
is there a way to select, for example, Memorial Day then, and that it every year adjust to one exactly Memorial Day? Because then
Almost like
we
it's
have like a workflow that we can have for years to go.
Yep.
yeah, like it connects to Google's whatever Google
Yeah.
is like assigning Memorial Day for that yearly calendar.
yeah. I don't like dependencies like that personally. I mean, again, this is
Yeah.
just my
Can you read it?
Got it. Right now, we don't have that. Sorry. Go ahead.
He's a beat.
okay. Brandon's
Is
on something else. Go for it.
There is a point to that, Ryan, because there are some theological sort of debates on certain like religious holidays when they actually start and end. So as long as you can edit the actual holiday, but there's could be like a default sort of like tie into the Google Calendar, but especially for religious holidays, they do kind of vary.
Yeah,
Like, it's like a selector, like a drop down, and then it asks you to confirm the date. So you can just
Yeah,
put if it's
something like that. Because like somebody that's Orthodox versus, kind
I
of whatever.
Yeah, I guess if
I
it's possible, we could have some common holidays. We could just call them common holidays. But then I don't know. Now we're getting into like because then we'll have to do
Granular.
internationalization with it, and like, is that really something wherein if I'm a business and I'm like, okay, like we have a policy at high level, like these are the days in the US that for non-customer facing teams we have off. So HR would just go in there or whatever. They could reference HR's calendar and say, okay, on these days, we're going to decide at a global level for into perpetuity, every Christmas, we're not going to send out emails. And if we want to change that, we can come back and do it. But I think to make this feature really, really powerful, having the way it's set up right now is really good, but also having sort of a persistent setting would be really helpful. Because like, what if you set it up when you set up the account, and then the next year on Christmas it fires off a workflow? I could see people being like, "Well, what the heck? I thought I paused it." So
yeah.
Yeah, I had that happen.
Instead of connecting a Google Calendar, maybe connect to our internal calendars. Like have workflows connect to calendars themselves, like the actual so even if you have a bunch of events, you can choose from those events that are allocated to your calendar, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of ideas.
Interesting, because what you guys mentioned, the holidays which come dynamically, that we don't have right now. But I think that's a super interesting point what you mentioned, like maybe the first of a Monday for whatever reason, right? So yes, I think syncing with the calendar makes super sense over here.
Would it be, has it been in discussion at all about notifying customers the same way that Social Planner notifies us when things are when the token's about to expire? So maybe we set up certain holidays, and so Ryan has a good point. Like you don't want a holiday to fire the next year if it's already established as a particular date. So maybe every calendar year there's like a notification, or maybe a month before there's a notification like check your dates or something.
Yeah. It sounds like a cool like V2 thing.
But
Because
then you have to go to literally every single workflow. Like where I'm looking at is like if we have 20 different workflows, or or even if we get it as an agency and we have, I know Charles has many more clients than I have, but I mean we have to go to a lot of people's workflows to actually adjust that one by one. I would love to, if there's a setting that is like that we can do over a whole account maybe.
I would say the customer would be responsible for that for the most part, unless you're managing their account. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I'm
comparison.
looking at this mock-up and there is an all workflows drop down here. So it's like select the date, apply to all workflows. So if you
Your
want
eyes
to
are
add,
way better than mine.
you could change
well,
it
I'm
to
zooming
all
in.
workflows, yeah.
I zoom in on everything. My eyes are
And
horrible.
also like Zapier, so we're all used to like Zapier or something like that, right? And you have to manage each Zap like by itself. Well, that should not be the benchmark, but it's, maybe it's the skateboard, right? But yeah, having an all workflows drop down that actually solves a lot of that. So
Okay, we can keep moving on this. I'm sure we'll have some more discussions around it, but
yep.
All right, going on to the next one. The next one I want to talk about is the error notifications. So, well, right now, the only way you could figure out if there's been an error in a particular workflow is when you probably open the workflow and then see some contacts have failed to go through the steps, right? So we want to change this sort of behavior where it's not very super non-intuitive like how it is right now. So what we're trying to do is we are trying to get a new tab, which is next to the all workflows called needs review, where you can see all the workflows which have at least one set of error. And also in the settings tab, you have an email notification place where you can add the emails, or you can add the particular users, contacts, and the emails where you'd be getting an email trigger. Having said that, there are in the initial phase, we are starting with the first whatever the biggest errors what we have noticed. Like generally we notice errors in the webhooks or FBIG and the external communications. So we are starting it out with those, but then later on as we go forward, we'll be giving this power to you where whichever type of an action or a trigger, irrespective of whether it's a premium action or a premium trigger, whatever it is, you can configure it over here, and only for those particular set of actions and triggers is when you would see it on the list as well as get it over your emails as a notification. Any questions? Any thoughts on this, guys?
well, as somebody who has messed up a lot of workflows, this this is exciting for me.
Yeah.
When is this coming out?
So this is in works. Hopefully in a week it should be out. It's almost done. So yes, there it is.
And is there a possibility for this to default to on, or have some kind of just default to on and go to the account business email
Yeah.
as
So
the default email?
yeah, that's like you guessed it or mentioned it, right? So by default, it is going to be on and it's only going to be sent to the location admin. After that,
Okay.
yes, of course, you can always toggle it off or add more emails as you wish to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to Charles's point, he's made in several other town halls. This is not going to apply to the agency admins, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm
Nothing
trying to
on
get
the
in your
chat.
head, Charles. I know exactly the pain you go through with all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're
It's all
in
about the end
that
user.
mode. Yep. Okay. This is awesome.
Yeah. Going on to the next one. So we are launching we are launching a new action, which is find opportunity. Now, the reason behind that is right now, if you would want to do any sort of actions consequent to create or an update opportunity, only the latest opportunity is right now being picked up, where sometimes you don't want that to be the case. So we are giving a new action which only does or which only helps you to find an opportunity with set of filters and the custom fields what are there. Now, you could find the opportunity according to the four options what you see, where that is whatever the opportunity is to be found. It could be either via the latest opportunity, the earliest, or the one that is triggering the workflow, or whatever, if you have added any custom fields, that particular opportunity which has been found with the help of the fields. And then you could use this later for your create or update opportunity to do the remaining set of actions, whatever you had in the workflow.
Very cool.
Any questions,
So
guys?
essentially, you could switch focus within the workflow.
Exactly.
So find opportunity and maybe like adding some more detailed text there that says this will focus on or, specify a specific opportunity once it's been found.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
The next one is we're working on some enhancements for the wait action, what we currently have. So while we did hear from you folks that sometimes people get lost on what's happening in the wait or why is a particular contact is stuck in the wait step. So we are trying to do a couple of intuitive or better UX changes to how the wait step works. Speaking a few of the top, my favorite ones, what we are currently doing is, so one of it is like you can see in the wait step, there is going to be, sorry.
No, it's all good. Keep moving.
Okay. So in the wait step, there is what we're doing is the first UX change. What we're trying to do is the branching out of the wait step. So when I mean by branching out of the wait step, there are because the reason or why we are trying to build this is because wait has an innate timeout action which takes place, and users are not able to know whether a contact has been gone through the timed out phase or whether it's actually happened through the wait or the time delay phase of it. So we're branching the condition for the wait as one, what you can see over here, and then the timeout as a separate branch. So you can intuitively see where the contact has been stuck, whether it's stuck on the timeout phase or whether it's stuck on the time delay phase, and you can accordingly make the remaining pieces of the workflow. That was the first UX change what I want to speak about. The next one, what we're doing is we're trying to make the wait step much clearer, where whatever conditions you have picked up, whether it is time delay or whether it is a email event or whether it's something else, we will be showing you at a textual level on what the delay condition or what the wait condition is, so that you know which branch assigns to what, as well as similarly in the timeout on what the timeout R is, so that this is probably going to time out after 2 hours, what you can see in front of your screen. The next one I want to speak about is
This
whenever.
one's really cool, by the way. I'm just curious, for those folks like myself that have changed all the labels to like wait for 2 minutes, is that going to get overridden in this or not?
No, so wait is it's gonna be the same one what is written over here, but whatever is a condition that you have put forward, that will be shown over here, Ryan.
Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this is just the heading or this is just the text placeholder of the wait. That is what would be as same what you have written probably.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. And the next one I want to also mention is about the statistics part in wait. So whenever you're trying to view the statistics in wait, right now you only have the option to push the entire set of contacts or skip the entire set of contacts. You could not do this over here at the statistics step, where you can pick literally one contact and then push that to the next step. So we are getting this up front at the statistics page, where you can like literally pick on one contact whether you would want to delete a contact from the workflow or push it to the next step. Right now, it was only possible in the enrollment history, but we're getting this much ahead to the statistics page. Any questions? Anything on the wait in general? Any other suggestions probably if you guys had?
Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, so over the last couple of days, I've noticed in a couple of workflows where, I'll have a wait step with a timeout, And
Mhm.
what ends up happening is the logic disregards what I have set for the timeout, and like it'll just push, the contact through. So I was just wondering if that's like maybe a side effect of you guys working on this or something like that. I think I have a ticket about it in there too.
No, Chris, that should not be the case. But could you drop the ticket ID and your email so that I can just check this right after the call and speed up, what's happening with it and share you an update?
Yeah, let me
You
check
can
that
just
out.
drop it on the chat. I'll pick it up after the call.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, because that shouldn't affect essentially whatever we are building. There should be no effect on what your weight condition is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Love this.
Moving on to the next. So similarly, what we are doing for the weight action, we are doing a similar sort of an enhancement to the if else condition or if else action what we have. So one is of course the UI change what we are doing right now, and but then more than that, I would want to speak about the condition type. So just zooming back to how the weight works is at the weight step, right? We have different type of conditions what you can pick up, whether it's a time delay or whether it's a email event or whether it's some other event which you want to wait for. Similarly, we are bringing that sort of a UX or that sort of a usability into the if else where we are helping you choose the different set of condition types, and automatically we'll be able to sort of make the different branches and accordingly it'll work. So when I mean by that, in the if else action, you can pick up any of these condition types, whether it's your own custom condition or whether it is an email event or whether it's a contact replied or any of these, and then accordingly the condition is applied with the different branches over here. And the third enhancement is similar to the one I had spoken with the weight, where we are trying to give you a textual explanation on what your condition is. Similar to what the weight is doing, we are trying to pick up whatever the condition you have added in your branch, whether and an or condition, and then show it over here so that you know why something is happening and what it is happening, as well as a better UI UX where if you click on this, you can also see whatever conditions you have added in your if else sort of if else action over here.
Going back to what Ryan was mentioning too, because I know that I label like what's going on with each one of these steps, that although you aren't going to overwrite what we put in, can we simplify and not display what you're putting in by default?
Yes. So Stacy, we don't override it over here. So whenever you have, say, you have named a branch, right? Let's say you have named a branch saying tag is something, right? So whatever you have named will still be shown over here on what you see on branch one. This condition or this textual explanation, what you see is just an addition to the current UI or whatever you have. So whatever you have written or renamed your branches, that does not change. It will be shown as what you see over here on branch one and branch two.
Does that make sense, Stacey?
Yeah, when I look at some of that kind of stuff, like I like it in like kind of simple terms. And sometimes when, and I'm just thinking about the end user that may not be like overly techie. And so like putting it like a little bit like that looks like scary to maybe somebody,
Got it.
so like I end up like, you know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
mean,
Like,
in
so
fairness,
I may not want to put what you put, but I want to put this sends the email, like just kind of a little bit more
Toned down version probably.
dummy down.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this based on my experience from the VA side and from the agency side, I see way more without any description than I do with a personal description.
Yeah.
Way more.
yeah. I mean, I tend to agree. The other thing, and again, I'm not trying to
You
say
can
we
check
shouldn't-
my homework later, Charles. It's pretty good.
Oh, I don't think anybody has a doubt about that. And obviously, everybody's going to address this in a different way. So I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't do anything here, but I mean, this kind of comes into like if a person's going to get overwhelmed by descriptions on the workflow, like maybe they should not be looking at the workflows.
They probably aren't going to do it
Like you kind
anyway.
of go through it once and
Yeah.
you're like, hey, this is what's going to happen, and then like don't touch it, and lock them out or whatever. But again, that's a personal
right.
business decision. So just kind of
True
my
that.
insight there.
Charles would say, know your customer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, moving on to the next one. So this is the notes, or what I want to speak about is, so we're introducing a new sidebar over here, as you can see. So this will essentially have your you can put notes and comments, whether it is a workflow level notes that is for the entire workflow, or whether it's sticky notes where you just want to explain to your team something on, hey, like you said, do not touch this, right? So something like that, or even if you want to add comments to your actions. So just doubling down on what I'm trying to point across is that, so when you talk about workflow level notes, if you click on this button on the sidebar, what comes, you can write different notes, whether it is for your internal team or for your future use case. You can write whatever note over here, which gets saved, and of course, keep adding it. Similarly, whatever you have, whatever other action level notes also you have written, right? So on each action, just going forward, so on each action, also you'd be able to see a note, what you can see over here, right? So if you click on this, again, you'd be able to add a note. And in the notes section, you'd be able to see both the workflow level notes as well as the action level notes, what is present over here. That is the first, where did I go? That was the first two steps of the notes, what we're building. The third action, what we're doing is just the sticky notes for your information, where you click on this button, click on what sort of color you would want, and then add any sort of sticky notes you would have so that you can use this for future sort of a reference. So summing it up, three different type of comments or actions, what we're getting. One is for your workflow, for your entire workflow. One is at an action level. And the third is your sticky notes, just in general, if you want to remind yourself of something. Questions, thoughts on this, guys?
This is super cool, guys. Great
Love it.
job. I'm loving this. It's going to
So
really,
cool.
really help the workflow.
I wish
Glad-
this was here like 8 months ago.
We
Put
heard you
this
guys.
out
Yes.
before.
Does
But I
this
think
allow
you-
us to use this like a whiteboard now, more like a whiteboard session, the way we would do it in Canva or another platform?
You can.
Yeah, you
Probably.
can.
I
Yes, you'll be
mean,
able to do that.
Because
we
that'd be cool.
basically rebuilt Jamboard, you know?
Yeah, and even if you know, I use Jira for my
Okay.
funnel build out like simulations and stuff like that. So this is like really close as far as like if we can have the notes right there. Hey, this is what the ad would look like. This is what, you know, the emails, everything on the back end, and then have a simulation of if we run $10 an ad, this is how much could flow through as far as click through rates, all that stuff. So just an idea, because that's how I use my whiteboard and my Jira, and then the actual workflow on the back end, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Or look at
can
market plan as well.
Can
It's
you
similar.
can you guys make the notes have media files like screenshots and such
Yes.
and links?
Yes, we will take that into consideration. Also, the arrows part, like you mentioned, when it's a whiteboarded, you'd want to pick arrows on one node to the next, right? Right now, in the first version, we don't have media as well as that, but yes, we'll just take a note of that and we'll push that too.
Awesome.
Awesome. Great work, guys.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, moving on to the next one. So this was what we are doing or going forward, what we want to do is we have seen and noticed that a couple of your or rather I would say most folks are using webhooks, whether it's custom webhooks, inbound webhooks, or even the normal webhook for speaking with multiple or different external parties, whether it is your Stripe, WooCommerce, or Calendly, or any other SMS provider like a ClickSend. So we wanted to take these integrations directly natively onto the platform, so you don't need to go through this hassle of the entire API integration with a webhook and all of that. So at least in the first set of phase, we wanted to take forward integration with a few external apps such as Stripe, WooCommerce, ClickUp, Calendly, and ClickSend. But having said that, I would want to hear this from you folks on, hey, you know, what is that you guys are majorly integrating with external platforms? Because that will also give us an idea or a roadmap on, you know, what we should integrate that will really help you guys first. So yeah, I just want to hear this slide is more like me wanting to learn from you guys. So yeah, I'm just keeping this open for you.
Like you guys want to build direct integrations with these things?
Yeah. Like what are the external apps probably that you guys use or via a webhook?
I would
What you-
say ChatGPT, brother, like I use VoiceFlow to interact with my ChatGPT bots. and I've been enjoying all the updates that you guys been adding to the AI and all that. But because to make the actual bots functional, like actually, pulling information, sending data, doing all that stuff, I need to connect to all these other apps and APIs.
Yeah.
I end up using Make and VoiceFlow as the front end for my customers, and then Make as the functionality of it. So I think that if we can have a smoother like workflow integration so that the chatbots could be easily, using all the API keys from ChatGPT, that's really going to allow us to upgrade the experience from a chatbot level. Because that's what VoiceFlow does. It allows me to I can copy and paste and embed the chatbots to any websites, move it around. I can make voice bots. I can even add, media and different type of content in there. So all of those different levels make it a little bit smoother for us to just have it all in one. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Yeah, I'm gonna second the Chat GTP.
Yeah, and even having it, I don't know if you guys have seen I think it's the I don't know which is the chatbot that does it. I think it's Poi or Pi or something like that. But basically,
Okay.
it allows you to choose between all of the different large language models. So not only will I have ChatGPT, but I can choose between Gemini or Claude or all these different levels. And that just makes it super easy again. So just
There's a
simple things
couple
like
of
that.
like u.com as well. And then that has a bunch of them.
I'm just curious, like what all models do you guys currently use, if not for the GPT 4.0 or the turbo ones? Curious on that. What all
Perplexity and Claude.
Yeah, Perplexity definitely is big. Claude,
Okay.
Gemini, I'll say would be the top ones. Anthropic is good too.
Got it. And just doubling down, what is the rationale behind one or the other, right?
So
Content
for me,
creation.
yeah, I was gonna say that for me, I use I can show you guys, I can jump off, not to bore everybody here, but I can show you guys my make bots where I basically upload a YouTube video, a long form YouTube video, and then I use ChatGPT to then transcribe that, turn that into a blog, turn that into short mini newsletters and text to go out from that video. So it just kind of creates an entire breakdown of that content model. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. That
I
would be
think
an
it's going to
interesting
be like
one to take up with
you
our
gotta you
like
gotta find
crew
like
and
the
stuff.
biggest ones because there's so many that are coming out left and right. It's gonna be like when social media came out, like how many social media platforms were there? And then like how many are left? And that's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen here. So it's like look at the biggest players, but don't worry about all the like little teeny guys. Sorry, but
Yeah, because
otherwise it's gonna
I
be
think the main thing though is not just one of the main things that I see as the limiting factor from our workflow capability is the fine tuning of our own bots. So when we fine tune our bots in ChatGPT, on VoiceFlow, I can take that assistant thread ID, and now when they're talking to my chatbot, it sounds and talks like me because of all the fine tuning I did directly on ChatGPT. And with us over here, we have to do a lot of the prompting directly in Go High Level, and it doesn't sound as organic as the bots that I'm building on ChatGPT side because the assistant API allows it to be a larger database of knowledge. You get what I'm saying?
So you're building a chat bot on their agent on their platform, and you want to use the same platform or the same agent ID.
Exactly, because you guys, for example, you guys are making me prompt and
Yeah.
add the information on our platform versus if I already have my assistants built out over there. I have a marketing assistant, a sales assistant, social media, so I can just take those threads, copy them into the workflow, and then now it should have all that knowledge directly plugged into ChatGPT with sounding and talking like myself or my clients. You know what I mean?
Understood. Yep. Fair point.
like if you could do
So
something with like 11 labs is obviously like the biggest one.
yeah, 11 Labs is big. I think HeyGen is huge, especially as we keep going into more like, clients don't want to do content and do all that type of stuff. So the HeyGen connections, I've been really enjoying that on the different platforms I've been using for bot builds. So that's something that I think is really big because you can use the voice. They do voice on HeyGen and they do video. So both of those things, as you guys know, for social media content, all that type of stuff, we need to be able to really like I love the commenting, like how comment and then the bots trigger. We need to add more of those functionalities. But for now, for like if I send out a post then something triggers. You see what I'm saying? If I post on YouTube, it should automatically trigger to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all these other places. Stuff like that is what I'm building on Make that could be all right in one platform, you know?
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Really good feedback there. We'll definitely take some of these AI conversations offline because they can get lengthy. But thanks so much for that input. And then Charles, you had a comment here.
Well, so I see we're at the last slide, and when are we going to get the ability to, when we mark in a workflow, if we're marking someone as D&D, can we get an action to mark the incoming call and SMS as D&D? I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't been added at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that. That it would help to control the
So
spam.
here's the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Your Google business listing is not showing up right. Press 1 to connect. Well, that's a junk call. I tag it as junk. I can mark it as D&D on the outgoing side, but
Yeah.
then I have to manually go into the contact and mark the incoming side D&D. There needs to be an option in the D&D and workflows to be able to enable or disable the incoming.
How would you
Got it.
identify it through the workflow, though? I'm just curious.
Right, keywords.
Keywords. Oh, like
Well,
the
I mean,
SMS, yeah.
Well, it sounds like he's already doing it. So
I'm already doing it. I mean, if
Yeah.
I get a phone call, I hang up, or and I can
Right.
just tag it as junk. I can add the tag junk, and it goes through a whole series of automations. But it removes them from everything, deletes the opportunity, D&Ds them for all outgoing communication, but then I have
Right.
to go check the box for the incoming. And it seems kind of silly that we added incoming and we have this D&D action, but it doesn't do anything with the incoming toggle.
yeah. So I guess just an update to that action to add the ability for incoming D&D.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if you're on that sort of thing, like unidentified numbers that, are obviously noted as spam, there's a high ranking of spam coming from that number, automatically blocked. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, of course, that could be a customer that needs a lot of help. So
obviously, because they're showing up as spam.
yeah.
Right.
We have what you need. Cool. Cami.
Yeah, sorry for the background noise. I'm in a cafe. So,
No worries.
I just had a quick question on the action for, or I guess the trigger for commenting on Instagram. When somebody comments on Instagram. So for the one that is, the same but for Facebook, it gives you the option to choose whether the phrase, like it contains the phrase or the exact match. But on the Instagram one, you can only choose exact match. And I was wondering if that was just a mistake, if there was a reason for that, if that could be changed, because I would like to be able to do just contains the phrase.
Prasoon, could you take that?
Sorry, Cami, can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, so for the trigger of commenting on an Instagram post or on a Facebook post, the comment. So on the Facebook one, it gives you the option when you choose the word, you can either choose contains phrase or exact match. But on
Correct.
Instagram, there's only exact match. You can't do contains phrase.
Just a second. No, I
It
think
says contain phrase. I'm sitting here looking at it.
It won't let me choose it. Let me pull it up. Let me see.
Oh, we just did that for your account. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Yes, but Cami, that should not be the case. Both the options are available for Facebook and Instagram. But
Okay.
if you can just share that over email, I'll get that checked for sure.
Okay, share that where?
I'm dropping in my email ID.
Oh,
So if you
okay,
can,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully it's one of those things where like my dad asked me a question, how come his phone doesn't do something, and then I just pick it up and it works. So
Hopefully,
maybe it'll be a
yeah. I
magic.
mean, because I've looked at it several times, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like it's almost even just like grayed out. Like it won't even let me. You know what I mean? Like it shows it, but it doesn't let me choose it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll check on that. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else in the queue? I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, me.
Steve.
What's up?
Yes.
Just mute that guy.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Am I allowed to ask my question?
Fire away, man.
All right, simple one. When will live be available in the workflow for conversational AI so that we can attach the workflow to a conversational AI?
Not. Can you probably take that, Prasoon? Not super sure on that.
So, can you please explain it to me again, Steve, please?
Yeah, easy. So in the workflow, there's a trigger that allows us to pick up when a reply is made via SMS, via other channels, but live is not available.
Okay, so we just want that live option in the filter, right?
Yeah, I thought that was in process already.
Yes, got it. So that is in process. Give me some time and I'll share the exact timelines with you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is there any timeline for user reply in the workflows? Like where we can make the workflow stop if the user replies. It's real helpful for, basic conversational things that you have going on, email sequences, or
Like you mean on an email or an SMS, Joseph?
like if the user that is one of our users in the business replies, we want a certain workflow to stop.
Yeah.
There's no way to do that.
Well, so you can use a goal event and then try to make him exit the workflow. That was one way you could do. But when it comes to an SMS or a couple of the other communication channels, right, we do not exactly know on what thread he has replied to. So that's also another technical issue why we couldn't put the email, the user replied sort of a function there, in the filters at least.
Well, what about for like the conversational AI? You just want a simple one, and then it kind of waits for a user or not and makes the response. You can't do that without like a user replied and then stop it, right? Maybe I'm not explaining the use case very well.
But so, Joseph, are you saying that if there is an manual reply, then the bot should stop replying after that?
Yes.
Correct?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Or like
Got
an
it.
SMS channel. If
But
one
it
of
does
the
this
team
already. Like if I
starts
reply,
to
doesn't the
reply.
bot automatically wave off?
No.
There's a setting that if you could toggle it on, it says if you manually reply or the automation from a workflow replies, so you can like wait a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Yes, we can actually stop and response as of now. Like there's a toggle.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, you can do this right now. There's a setting.
On the chat.
I think it's maxed
not on
out.
like an SMS channel.
Oh, you want to
like
do
2
it by
hours?
channel?
Kind of like on the SMS channels where I was trying to use it.
So on SMS, you cannot, Joseph and Sean, because you would not know which SMS the person has replied to, right? Because
No, I know. I was asking if he wanted to do it by channel, but it doesn't seem like he wants to do it by channel. He wants to do it just overall.
Okay.
But I think we have this.
Yeah,
today.
like
there's
like
the
any
max is
user
hours.
Like any of my staff people response, then maybe stop
So there's a
working,
setting,
no matter
Joseph,
what it was.
it would be great if somebody could just flash it up on the screen, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think what the team is saying is you can do this today. You just need to
Okay.
change the setting. Let's show you the setting.
I'll find it.
Or
Yeah, if
better
you go to
yet, wherever it's-
conversation AI, bot settings, it's at the bottom. There's no option to completely turn off the bot, but it's like hours, so you can set it
Okay.
to
Yeah.
which, by the way,
100
just
hours.
Thank you.
for the record is well designed, because if somebody's manually responding, then the bot will just keep resetting the hours. But if they
Mhm.
cease to respond, you would want the bot to respond.
Right.
So don't do something silly like set it to 99. I thought it was already, like in our account, I feel like it says the bot will respond in 3, 2, 1, and if I respond, it'll like chill out for 2 hours or something. Isn't that the default?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I thought Sean,
Yeah,
that's
that's the
what I
default.
thought it was doing for me initially,
Yeah.
but it seems to not, I don't see that notification happening. And maybe it's because I'm too trusting of the bot and I'm not jumping in
Yeah,
and watching it right
I don't-
away,
Yeah, that's
but
a
I'm
good
not
question.
seeing it now.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you really, if you double check and it's not there and you have this setting on here that they just showed, then let me know. But otherwise, I do think it works. And Joseph, I don't know if you saw that just now. Did you see the setting?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. And just while you're on the call here, I'm just curious because I'm almost certain that's on by default. Does somebody on my team know that?
I think it's toggled off by default, Sean, but I
Send
could
the
be
bot to
wrong.
sleep when I just manually send a message to a work. Oh,
Yeah, it might be
manually
toggled
work.
off by default.
Why? Somebody on the team know that?
Okay,
No, something look
I
into it.
just checked mine and I have mine set to 12 hours, and maybe that's why it's such a long time delay that's why I'm not seeing it. So thank you, Sean.
Yeah. Anyhow, my team,
No, Sean will look into it, and
you decide. You got to make a good decision. But it just feels to me like
mhm.
by default, if someone manually responds, I don't think they want the bot to continue to compete with them.
Mhm.
Now, personally, I would set it 24 hours. Seems nuts. You know,
Couple hours, don't you think?
I
An
mean,
hour.
I don't know. Like if you're engaged in a conversation, what does engagement look like? Engagement looks like I'm going back and forth with you, in
Yeah.
my opinion, over a matter of like minutes, not hours.
Mhm.
So if you say, and and maybe you get crazy and you set an hour or something, but if you don't say anything, if I don't say anything back to you for an hour, I mean, the thing about the end of that is the worst case is you say, okay, I'm ready to buy. Where do I send the money? And then you say nothing back for an hour.
Yeah.
Now, the other question is, let's say somebody does say, okay, I'm great. I'm ready to buy. Where do I send the money? And an hour goes by. Does the bot react to the previous question an hour later? Or does the bot just start to listen again an hour later and waits for the person to say, hey, you idiot, I asked you where to send the money? It should be the prior, not the latter, for the record.
Yeah.
So somebody on my team, write that down and double check it, because it should be in response to the previous question if the question was unanswered.
You check, we'll get this.
Unreplied.
Noted, John.
Thank you.
Cammy.
I will
Yeah,
say
hey,
this real quick, it is
oh.
defaulted on. Sorry.
It is defaulted on. Okay.
It's defaulted on to 2 hours. So this was a brand new sub account that got spun
That's
up
perfect. That would
yesterday.
be my,
Yeah.
that would be my gut too.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Charles.
Yep.
Good.
Good, Cammy.
Okay. First, I was gonna say I got my first issue resolved. I I did go and look at it, and when I tried to edit it, it wasn't there. But when I deleted it and then just added it again, it was there. So yay. And then I remembered my other questions. So one, when you are having a conversation in DMs, like with that, right? So somebody replies, you're doing the whole back and forth like automatically, and ask them for their email address in the DMs. From my understanding, I thought that like when they replied with their email address, if they already had a contact in the system with that email address, it would merge those together. But it is not. So I don't know if there's like a setting for that, or I don't know if I'm doing something wrong.
So Cami, as of now, we don't have the user input feature. So this is a user input feature which you can use, in which the user is entering their email ID or phone ID, and that will be auto updated to the contact in GHL. This is something that we are brainstorming on for the phase 2 of FBIG. Not 100% finalized that this will be picked in phase 2, but one of the points that we are brainstorming on. If we are picking this up, we'll definitely let you know.
Okay, cool. And then the other thing is with the action of like the positive and negative response. I don't remember what it's called, but basically, taking in like somebody's response
Positive
and filtering
negative
based on.
intent.
Yes, there we go. I have tried using it a couple of times, and it's most of the time like completely off base. And so just wondering,
I thought we upgraded. It uses ChatGPT now. It should be rocking.
Was that like very recent?
Well, no,
No.
but you should just file a ticket on that and send it to Prasoon.
Okay.
He should run that down, because I mean, we used to use come on, somebody beat me to it. Google, come on, what the heck did it used to be called?
Dialogflow.
There we go. Thank you. And Dialogflow was decent, but this was pre-ChatGPT, right? But now with ChatGPT, it should be just, I mean, darn near perfect. I mean, it can't be like, I'm sure you can break it. It could be like,
I don't know. I mean,
amazing
it was,
and I hate you probably might cause it to result, but
no, it was like a simple, like they responded, yep, like YEP, and it classified it as
get that to Prasoon.
either negative or like no response or something. I don't know. Like,
get that. Just get that to Prasoon. Get a ticket number.
Okay.
And then email it to him. Did you drop your email in here, Prasoon? If not,
yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Cool.
I'll drop it again. And Cami, in the meantime, you can also use one of the recipes that we have, which uses Facebook and ChatGPT. And I'll look at the ticket for sure.
Okay, cool. And on that, I'm glad you brought that up. Is there any ETA on being able to create our own like recipes, templates for our sub accounts or workflows?
No, we are still working on that, Cami. It will take some time.
Prasoon, though, is there a quarter in which that will occur?
The first phase we are planning for this quarter itself, Sean.
Okay, so the answer to Cami's question is yes. We have the first phase planned this quarter. What does the first phase look like?
So in the first phase, there will be a separate template library in which you can sort through categories. Initially, the GHL team will be adding those recipes. Down the line, we plan to open this for other users also.
Got it. So actually, it's more like no, but probably Q4.
Yep.
Yes, probably in the future. First, we want to just go ahead with the phase 1 and then expand on it.
Got it. Yeah, because that will be a thing. Don't worry, Cami, we won't forget that idea.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Keith, did you have a question up or hand up, something?
Sure, I was just gonna tag on the conversation we were having about conversation AI settings, and say where it has the setting the bot to sleep after a maximum number of messages. Could we have a final message to that from the bot that says, hey, I got to go right now, not this exact words, what the concept, not the words. I got to go for now.
What's the why?
The why is because we have a maximum number set and the default is pretty high, 25 messages. But if they were to hit that message number, the bot just goes to sleep goes silent on them, just like the exact example you said, Sean, where if after 24 messages, they happen to be at the place where they're ready to buy, why would we want it to just go to sleep?
But what's the practical implications of this? Like, when is this even used today? Like, when do you hit that message count?
I hit the message count a lot earlier than 25 because I'm not using it for.
But what is it? Like, what's happening here? Why am I not taking action, moving forward, doing something?
Because I don't think my use case is generalized.
Yeah, so then I don't care. But
okay.
Generally speaking, but I mean, I would love to know that there's a generalized. I mean, somebody on my team actually set up this idea of minimal, like maximum messages, which is interesting. Actually, I'm a big fan of not doing that, but I just wonder. It's like it feels to me like either the AI bot moves you to some kind of next step, or it's like not doing a good job. But like that team's like those are the two options I would sort of imagine. But what's your use case specifically? I get that it's niche. What is it? Walk me through it.
So, because I'm having relational conversations with people, when they send me a message and say, hey, I'm interested in having a conversation next week, I don't want to have the bot talk to them for an hour about a meeting for next week.
Yeah, you'd want the bot to be like, oh, great, here's my booking link. Grab a time that works for you.
Right. But if they don't,
and instead continue
and they keep talking to the bot, then
so which is weird of them, but okay, let's say they hit that number. What would your message be like? Hey, I already told you to book an appointment, loser. Go away. Stop talking to me.
Sure.
Like, what would you say?
I simply and it is less on the intent, booking intent. If we're over in the intent of general support and answer, if we've rolled over into the general support and answer mode, and it thinks that it's supposed to keep answering questions, but at some point it needs to.
I mean, I could see like a spammer use case or something, right? Where you're like, you could sort of shut them down. I'm just wondering, my question on this is, how many good customers that you feel like would eventually buy your stuff reach this point?
Well, maybe they're already a customer, right? It's just Q&A, and they're just asking customer support. Maybe it's a setting that belongs in the
it's like a sign-off message. It's like, hey, at this point, I don't think I can help you. If you need more assistance, do X.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, I like your idea. I like your idea of like no limit, but maybe the limit should be in the booking intent settings.
No. I mean, you don't want to take that idea because people like the way it's set up. The product team did a good job here. I said I don't like it, but that doesn't mean that most people won't. But I do the sign-off message. I guess that sign-off message does make a lot of sense to me. So I get the case now. See, Keith, your idea here is that's the whole point. Don't ever start out as I have a use case for myself. Because you don't. You actually have a use case that is actually more generalized. I think that there's a case to be made where you could get to a situation where you would just say, look, I'm getting here because people are asking more questions than they should. And maybe the bot's untrained, maybe the bot's not doing a good job, or maybe they're just like bored and trying to have a conversation. But either way, at some point, I want to sign them off and move them on. And it's the idea that if the bot actually can't bring them to a conclusion, I'm just going to say, look, at this point, I'm done with you. Here's how you can get further assistance. I think that's legit. So product team, let's write that and figure that out. And we already have a sign off. We clearly have a sign off situation. This is just like posting one final message. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate that idea.
Dan.
Hey, just want to come back real quick to when Charles was talking about the D&D incoming and trying to add that to actions.
Yeah, I don't see why that's a bad deal. Mark, Mark D&D on incoming call.
Well, it's not a workflow action, so.
No, I get it. It's a good idea.
Is there any way to make that all faster on mobile? So, you know how like right now you can pull the contact to the left and like mark as read, delete conversation. For
Talk to Ravish. I don't know. Talk to Neil Ashish. That he's the right product manager for mobile.
Okay.
I don't think it's a crazy idea either, by the way, Dan. You're just saying, hey, look, I'm on a call with some idiot, calls me. I get this all. You're just saying, look, can we make it like the iPhone where some person calls and says, hi, how are you today? And you just know right away. That means like,
yeah, because right now to mark it incoming and delete the contact on mobile is
you don't want to. Oh, you want to delete it? Yeah, and I just like the idea of flagging it as spam, right?
Well, yeah, but if you have it set up where it creates contacts,
yeah,
you'd want to get that out of there so you don't.
You're right.
Whatever.
You're right.
So right now
totally
it's 8 taps on a mobile. If you get 3 or 4 calls a day.
Yeah. So here's what actually, Dan, do me a big favor. This is what'll rock this point. Go download Loom on your phone and film that, and then send it to Ravish and Neil Ashish. They'll totally get it.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other unanswered questions before we adjourn here?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on mine.
Yeah, let's answer Steve's. I forgot what it was.
Man.
Oh yeah, when are we gonna do something?
For the live on the workflow.
Yeah, Steve, I'll share the timeline with you separately.
Oh, he
Can
already
you
told you the answer
drop
to
in
that. He
your
says it's on. No, Steve, you weren't listening. He said it's on the roadmap. I'll let you know exactly what the timeline is shortly. He
Oh, I
didn't mean
thought you meant
this
shortly,
call.
like during this call.
You're nuts. Just email the dude. He dropped his email in here. Come on. You got to read through the lines. Yeah, just it's Prasoon. It's here. There. He dropped
I'll
his email.
resend.
Just email the guy.
Got it, man.
And then just set up a workflow that automatically emails him every day asking for an update. No, just kidding.
Well, I already,
Anything else? We're taking all comers today.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's what happens when you give snarky responses. People stop asking questions. That's why I get on here to do that. Hey, I'm out in Dallas, and I got to say, anybody who's not out here, who should be out here, is missing it. But for all of you who did come out to Dallas, props to you guys for doing that. But I'm excited. We're doing some cool stuff. So, and I'd like to say thank you to everybody who comes to these calls. You make you make our product so much better by doing it. And huge props to the teams for putting this on. These are way better than the town hall calls, or the all hands town hall calls, because you can go much deeper on anything. And hey, Keith, props to you for finding time in your day to show up. Because I think your ideas will be much more received here because you can go deeper on them.
Thank you.
So thanks, everybody.
Excellent.
I do appreciate you being responsive. I think it's awesome.
I try. You may not
I
like
wouldn't
my
even
responses, but I'll surely respond.
I certainly wouldn't I wouldn't try to contact the president of HP, for example. I mean, just trying to pick something at random, right? That I would know that would go in, that would be talking to the wind, right? Where when we're having a conversation, I know that you're listening, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we absolutely don't. We absolutely think of ourselves in service of our customers, and how the heck are we supposed to know what to build unless our customers give us their best ideas? And yesterday, YouTube Shorts and YouTube video posting went live in Social Media Planner, and the thing that gave me the most thrill about that was 800 some votes. So I just know that people give a crap about it, and I'm happy that the team made it happen and delivered it. So I think that's good stuff. What is this? This is, and then
Super exciting.
I think it's awesome. So please do keep voting on those ideas. If you find duplicate ideas, report them so we can combine them together. Again, if anyone has a better idea, I'm all ears. I'm happy to do something better. But until then, this is the best thing I've personally seen. And so please keep contributing, because we are paying a lot of attention. Oh, and by the way, Kenny, I don't know if any of you knew this, but the ideas board went down because there was some spammers decided that they could use it to hijack stuff and sell stuff. So they just made it so that they've got it back live inside app.gohighlevel.com, because they're using single sign-on to prove that you're a high-level customer. And they're trying to get it to work for all the white label apps. And I don't know if they've done that yet, but at least for now, if you go in under your app.gohighlevel, it should be fully functional.
I thought it went down because Charles was putting so many ideas on the idea board.
That was mostly Keith, actually, to be fair. It's all the comments from Keith. We're just trying to figure out how to block him, but we couldn't figure it out. So
Guilty as charged.
well, thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Are we done, Prasoon?
Yes, we are good to go.
All right. Peace
Thank
out,
you.
everybody.
See you
Thanks
guys.
a lot.
Take
Bye.
care.